If you knew what I knew, you could get 10 million subscribers within 6 months. I was offered $5 grand for a video. Subscribers don't matter, views don't matter. Do that every single day for years. Well, this was when I was like 19, and it was so much money. It's like, Mom, look. And I was like, double it, and I'll walk outside and I'll give it to a homeless person. And they're like, no, you won't. And I was like, double it. And I like pacing around my neighborhood for 3 hours, convincing this guy, like on the phone, just double the money. I promise the video will go viral and I'll give it to a homeless person. I was like, $10,000 just looks better in a title. It'll get more views. I promise your app will do better. And I ended up getting $10,000 and then gave it away. And my mom's like, why don't you just give away $8,000, $9,000? Why all $10,000? I was like, Mom, it'll look better in the title. And it's just better, you know? And that's basically that.
Yeah. How did you know that, you know, giving away $100? I guess it's natural, but like, why does it make such good content? Like, why do those things make good?
At the end of the day, it's something I've always enjoyed. Like, even when I was, I don't want to say poor. I don't want to over dramatize my story. Like, you know, we weren't ever poor, but when I didn't have as much money, if I saw a homeless person, I would, you know, open my wallet and give them almost all the money I had. It's just fun, you know, because then you see the reaction, their face light up, stuff like that. And so it kind of was just something I always enjoyed, because there were so much easier ways to get views back then than like having to give away money and less stressful stuff. But I just enjoyed it. And I thought it was interesting to see people's reactions and like to try to like, they're expecting $1 and you give them 100 and they're like, oh my God, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a mixture of what I thought was interesting, but also what I enjoy, if that makes sense. The thing is, it's all knowledge. It really is. And like every time I say this, people debate it to the end of time on Twitter, but I don't care. Like I could start a new channel tomorrow with not using my face or my voice, like without ever promoting it. And in 6 months have 20 million subscribers. I just could. Like,
there's sometimes where I have theories that you are doing that and it's going to happen and you're not going to tell
I live
anyone.
through people vicariously all the time and help people just get a couple million subscribers here and there. It's purely knowledge. Like if you knew what I knew, you could get 10 million views a video and you could get 10 million subscribers no matter where you are right now within 6 months. It really is just knowledge. And I can already tell you 90% of the people watching, they don't agree with that. They don't. And everyone has excuses and they're always like, nah, YouTube just doesn't work like that, Jimmy. You don't understand. But I mentor a lot of people. I see it even to this day. I still see it all the time. It is possible. It is simply knowledge. And the second you accept that it is knowledge and you start your, for me, 10,000 day journey of learning, for you, whatever it is, if you want to be less hardcore, and like actually figuring out, you know, what makes a good video? What does my audience want? How can I elevate? And then you take that knowledge and you just assume that I will never understand what the perfect video is. And every single day I just need to be devoted to learning as much as possible and improving as much as possible. And I got to improve every video as much as I can. Then there you go, you know?
When it comes to retention, obviously there's things you can do in the first 30 seconds, the first minute. Are there checklist items you have to get people to 10 minutes, to 15, to 20?
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard with a single storyline, if you're doing like a double-digit minute video, to just have that one thing grip their entire attention throughout the whole video and pay off at the end. So typically, if you're doing a longer video, you should introduce like a side story and like you should have some plan halfway through, like to re-engage them so they don't just get bored. You know what I mean? Like if I just said, like, if I hand you a camera and I had a camera, it's like, okay, if he tags me, he gets 100 grand. And then I just run and that's it. It's just me running through the woods and him just running through the woods after me. You can't make a 15-minute video out of it. You know what I mean? But if I do that and then like 3 minutes in, I pull a lever and a bear comes out and starts chasing him and he has to get away from the bear. I don't know. Obviously we wouldn't do this, but kill the bear. And then he starts chasing me. And then 6 minutes in, I jump across the lake. And as he goes to jump through, I press a button that shoots him to the moon, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, now all of a sudden it's interesting and you're watching, right? And that's it, right? One is just a single story and it's boring. The other has side stories that like re-engage people.
So that like introducing other narratives.
But actually, you know how we were talking about Dylan earlier?
Yeah.
So he just said, I'm getting close to 70%. I'm almost a decent YouTuber. And he sent me a graph where his new video had 65% retention.
Oh, wow.
Because I told him if he doesn't get 70% retention on a video, then he didn't do something right.
Wow, I don't even want to pull up our retention.
Yeah.
70%, that's what you need. If it's below that, figure out how to get higher.
We're probably at like 40% right now. So we got some work to do.
We were talking earlier, we were saying like
viral.
a lot of times in our videos we'll be like, this video is about this, and that. And we were like, well, what if we actually held one back and at that 4 or 5 or 6 minute part where we're like, and the one thing we didn't tell you was this. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it like takes another direction.
But I also think the thing you said that I think is important is that it's not always just a bear that you have to bring in as a dual narrative, right? It also could be, like you mentioned, the visuals, right? In a lot of our videos, we have like really fast moving visuals, custom animations. Yeah. That's what makes it interesting.
Exactly.
Like if you're not a creator who's doing maybe bigger stunts or anything like that, and you are explaining things, your visuals can be
as simple as an ant crawling on your skin and biting you. I don't know. Like it doesn't have to be big.
Yeah. Or in the case that we were talking about, some of these shorts creators are gaining massive viewership by making Subway sandwiches or making ice cream and telling stories.
Shout out to Milad.
Shout out to Milad and Dylan LeMay. They're like, 82 million views making ice cream and telling a story. Yeah. So it's like, there you go. That's visual. It's interesting. And there's another narrative where he's telling a different story about.
You could probably paint a bowling ball and people would find it entertaining. Like there's an audience for everything. You got a good personality, you're passionate, and like, you present it in a way where it's entertaining. Like people will watch it. I'll watch anything at this point. We're all messed up in the head.
One great example of adding other narratives is your Reacts channel. I think it's really interesting because you guys I watched your parkour reaction. Yeah. And you and Chris are reacting, but at the same time, Nolan is losing money when Chris says a word that he can't say. And so it's like, already I just said something that's multiple narratives that are happening at once that are, there's the visuals of the parkour, which are already really interesting. There's your reaction. Then there's Nolan losing money.
Exactly. And then the payoff at the end where you're like, well, how much does Nolan make? Exactly. Right. My favorite one is on the Reacts channel. We do this thing where it's the video, start of the video, it's Chris and his grandma. And I go, every time Chris laughs, he loses $500. Right. And then we kick his grandma out of the room and I show him a bunch of TikToks. And then, you watch to see how much his grandma makes. Subscribers is an arbitrary number.
Okay, so that doesn't matter. Million views a video.
No, you should ask me, what helps us make the best videos possible? That's the only question you should ask me. Subscribers don't matter. Views don't matter. I mean, they do, but all that comes. Everything you want as a creator comes from making the best videos possible and thumbnails. But it's easier to, make thumbnails. The video part's the hard part, and that's the thing that you're known for. No one's known for no one's like the biggest YouTuber in the world because they have the best thumbnails, right? Yeah. It's also because they have great, phenomenal content. You know what I mean? Like that's the hard part that very few people do well. And that's what people remember. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to have some random dude when you're walking down the street of Paris go like, yo, that's the guy with the great thumbnails. They're going to be like, no, that's the guy with the phenomenal videos that whatever, held his breath for 40 minutes underwater or things like that. So that's a tip for you guys, but also you guys watching. Ask, how can I make my videos better? Do that every single day for years. And then people... Oh boy, it's like they think their videos are better than they are, honestly. And
tell them, Jimmy, tell them.
I mean, they do that, and they have horrible friend groups because you really are like the type of YouTubers you hang around. It's getting people with the right YouTuber friend group that aren't pussies and will actually tell them when their content's bad and like actually roast it and help them get better in a nice, positive way. Your title and thumbnail set expectations. Like what you're saying is like, I like bananas, and what you need is bananas are the best goddamn food on the planet. Like that's the type of opinion you need. Like you need something like how to get 100 million views on YouTube, or not even that. That's not strong enough. You need something that makes people go, what the fuck? What the fuck did he say in that video? What the fuck? I need to know. At the very beginning of the video, to minimize drop off, you want to assure them that those expectations are being met. Match the expectations, and then you want to exceed them. So you want to assure people that what they clicked on is what they're getting, and then blow their mind and be like, but you're also getting even more. Anytime you say the word algorithm, just replace it with audience. The algorithm didn't like that video? No, the audience didn't like that. Literally all the algorithm does is reflect what the people want to a T. And if you deny that, you just make terrible videos and are trying to find a scapegoat. Sometimes we're filming for 3 or 4 days, like 10 hours a day, 30, 40 hours of filming plus months of setup, whereas most creators probably film for a couple hours and set up for a day. By always doing all those things, it just distinctively sets it so far apart that it's basically, in my head, it's like, why would you not watch it? A lot of people aren't willing to put in 10 hours days because they don't like what they're doing. So it's finding what they enjoy, because it is like a long grind. Like you're doing for years, not months. So if you don't enjoy it, then you're gonna burn out. It's much easier to get 5 million views on one video than 50,000 views on 100 videos. It takes way less effort to get 5 million views on one video.
If he can make a 3-pointer, I'll tell you how much I make off YouTube.
96,000 a month.
157 million views. That's why when you say like, well, do you set aside money? 39 days of no video, and you can still do that on a side channel. The videos get views even if I don't upload. So like if I really wanted to, I could just stop spending and just live off the money.
531,000
Full disclosure, it's late at night. I haven't uploaded in a while.
Oh my god.
When we uploaded the island video, we were doing 5 million an hour. So
look at all the channels.
Here's the other channels. Pick any channel you want.
$63,000 a month.
Literally, all I want to do is make the best videos possible.
Yeah.
That's why I live in the studio right over there. So I don't, like, I'm not worried about paying for a mansion. I don't drive a Lamborghini. I purposely have a really, like, dumbed down lifestyle. So because it gives you freedom. Like, you know, most people can't reinvest in a business because when they get to this level, they're worried about their $10 million mansion. They're like 4 or 5 cars and insurance and keeping up with that. And then like their second home and all these other things. I just cut it all out. I have no like personal debt or like things, you know, that I have to pay for. So I can just go all in on the business because it's like, it doesn't even matter. You know what I mean?